Hello! Today we're going to build a ACF car, yes? Fairly simple, with hydraulic steering and pop-up guns. I was asked by a user to make a tutorial of how to build a ACF car. So I said yes, absolutely. There are, I think, lots of other tutorials of how to build a car, but therefore I need to make something different. So let's begin. We are going to choose a base prop. I think it will do with a regular steel plate. Yes, one of those. I have used those before in other cars, so this will be excellent. So first off, we are going to make steering. So let's find. I think they're down on specialized. And we want to find this steel bar, like a plain steel bar, that one. So 2 of those. And now we're going to no collide them. It's easy if we just no collide them with anything. That's right click. I think we should put them back a bit so that we could have place for maybe the guns in the front. I haven't really decided. Yes, that should be good. And now we right click, access it. And then we're going to take a rope, click rigid. No, rigid rope, visible. There to there. Now, you see? Now we're going to place limiters so that this won't happen. Let's see. Well, maximum steering to the left we're going to limit just as we get those to the same side. I think that's quite fairly. Now unclick rigid. So this will be the maximum output in this angle. And we will basically do the same thing with the other side. Like that. And they're all connected, yes. Oops. Now we have the basic steering structure. It's very simple. Some may say this is a bit too simple, but I like it this way. Just check yeah. It's good if the axis has not too high friction. And now we're going to apply some technique. And I will do this from scratch, but it's very, very, very useful to have all the technical, all the wire stuff, the computing, all the steering system, everything, just in a single box. So you just can spawn a box and change some numbers and then use it for any vehicle. Let me show my dupe. Here is my vehicle box. And this one, this contains anything you need to build the ACF vehicle. Speedometer, wire controller, and all is pre-wired. And these are to steer left and right. And I think I have mini chips here to steer up and down if you're putting it on a fin, on a plane or something I have built before. So everything is just in this box and it's very, very useful. So we're going to make a control pad, and this control pad you can save before you put it on the vehicle and save that, so it won't being the dupe, we just make this, and you can save this before we weld it to the vehicle as a dupe and use for coming vehicles. So, first of all, we of course need an advanced pod controller, wherever that is, because they changed the name to pod controller and it's kind of annoying. There it is. Sometimes it takes like 5 minutes to find a pod controller just because they've changed the name. It's kind of annoying. And now we're going to need multiply gates, add gates, and wait, now I'm on constant value. We're going to go to gates to make the rest of the structure to make this steering work. Also, we're going to imply everything you need for throttle on an ACF engine, because this is an ACF car. And I guess you know what ACF is because you watched this tutorial, but if you don't, it's an engine and weapon mod which makes engines that are realistic and weapons that can destroy props. So, first of all, we're going to use a large model, like for tutorial purpose model. And 2 multiply gates. And we want an add gate. Here, we can make this another model. This is the add gate. And we're also going to need this num value, constant value. Let's see, I always lose this little wire stuff. Here it is. And we're going to use this classical numpad value model. And we are going to use 3 numbers. This is 4. I want 3. The first one is we're going to put 20. And the next one we're going to put negative 20. And the third we're going to put 100. And that is for the throttle of the ACF engine. So, now we are going to wire A to 20, A on the other multiply gate to negative 20, and we are going to put B on A, and we are going to put B on multiply gate 2 on D. So that is left-right steering. And maybe we can, that is so. When we connect the pod controller, we will see the result. And we are going to put A on the gate to, we just connect the add gate to these multiply gates so that we can put the hydraulic to this one. So now it's time to connect the hydraulic, and we also want to spawn a seat. So we start with the seat. Choose any seat. I chose this one, Japloy seat. You may choose any seat. So we're going to take the pod, not advanced pod controller, because there is no advanced pod controller. So let's see if I can see from here. You see, when I press that one, it's 20. When I press D, it's negative 20. That's the information our hydraulic will get. Here we have the hydraulic, and I will put a width on the hydraulic for tutorial purposes. I usually have the width on 0, that is invisible, normal size. And we want the hydraulics to be not winch mode and not fixed. These must be unchecked. And because I have wired as I had, the hydraulic will be... oh crap. The hydraulic will be to the left side and then to the middle. Oops, now I'm going to put the controller and that we put in the middle, like that. Whoop, crap, what have I done? Whatever. Now, we're going to wire this hydraulic length. We're going to wire onto this add gate. And now we shall see and free this. And now you see it clearly don't work. That is, we firstly need to check what the length of the hydraulic is when it should be straightforward and add a constant value. Let's see if this changed just yet. It does. So that when we are pressing no button, the vehicle will be steering straight forward. 41.19. So we take our constant value and add a fourth this time actually. And here we write 41.19. So, and now we're going to update this. That's completely cool. And now we're going to add C to that value. Now you see the hydraulic is facing straight forward when you press no button. So now I press A and D. Now we can steer. That is awesome. Now we're just going to add some wheels. And we're going to add, yeah, you know, engine, gearbox, everything like that. So there is one thing I want to do while I'm building, because the material on this plastic plate is just too boring to build on. So we're going to choose engine and wheels. We start with the wheels. So what wheels do you want? We take these regular wheels and we need 4 of them. And let's wire them, not wire. Let's wall them or axis them. And it's very useful to freeze every part before you try to use this mod. I don't know really what it's called. I think it's, you know, so you have these white lines and you can like smart snap. It's easier to aim. No. Now I double axised. No, I didn't. This isn't going very well. Whatever. Okay, just freeze everything. And then you take the axis tool and you left click. I don't really know why they added this function so that you can pick up things by press E. It's completely useless. When do you need to lift something up in Gmod? When you have A, grav gun, to fish gun. It's like you have 2 tools to lift thing, and they add a third way to lift things in Gmod. That is, atop of that, completely useless. So you can make these wheels sink in to the body of this base. Oh, come on. so that they won't stick out like this, because this is going to be a very wide car. So if you want a more narrow car, you can put them more into the structure, or you can choose a more narrower base prop. So that is. And as you notice, we can't really turn the wheels now because we have to no-collie these wheels to the base prop, and we also need to no-collie these ones. And now it should be working like that. So what we're going to do is we need the weight tool, and we need to change these steering bars to the same weight as the wheels. And I noticed something, that I have caused the steering a bit slow. We are going to take the remover tool, don't aim wrong, and we're going to remove this wire hydraulic. And then we're going to wire, and then we're going to put the speed up, the speed of the hydraulic to 120. So we have faster steering, because I thought that was a bit slow that we had before. So now you know that. And it's as easy as just length rewire on this board to the add gate. And now we're going to check how it works. Yeah, much better. Much better. And now we're going to choose engine. And to this point, when we're going to say where we're going to put engine, you must choose if you want to drive. You want a four-wheel drive, or two-wheel front or back wheels. So it's most useful to have a four-wheel car so that the engine is connected to all four wheels. That's fairly easy. And we are going to go into ACF menu, and we're going to gearboxes, and we're going to choose the differential, and we want differential medium. And note, you want to put the final drive to negative on one of them, because they both will face the middle of the vehicle. Just no collide these two, everything, so we won't have any conflicts. And position them as they should be positioned, like that. And for the front wheels here, like that. See the height, it's good. Let's weld them. These differentials are going to be connected to a gearbox. And for the gearbox we want a certain model. Let's choose gearbox. You can choose this automatic gearbox if you want, or you can choose a manual gearbox. And I usually use the keys W and S for changing gear, and I use space for throttle, and I use Alt for brakes. So that is the setup I will do in this tutorial also. 4-speed inline medium, we want the gearbox that look like this. And we also want to no-collie this to anything also. and we want this that way. So, or that depends. I want the engine in the back of the car. So then this little thing will be facing backwards because that's what the engine is going to be connected to. And we'll do this. And now we take up our ACF tools and link those. Oh, I put them in a bit wrong position. We're going to need to put that a bit back and sink it down a bit, then re-weld it. And now we want to take up the ACF menu, link those two, successful, and we want to link those two, and now we're going to link to the wheels. All the 4 wheels. And now we're going to choose an engine. Let's see. Whoops, engines. So, there are lots of types of engines. What about something crazy? Yes. This radial engine maybe. Nah. I have used a radial engine in a kind of motorcycle, but yeah, let's choose a small diesel engine. That's kind of car-y. We no-call these to anything also, so it will be more easy. Slash, we won't have so much conflicts if something seriously fucks up. And now we're going to put this right in front of this connection here. Let's see. Like that. Should be good. A bit more down. Okay, ACF menu. We'll link this. Now we're going to weld this with that. And I forgot to spawn it. We need another multiply gate. Let's scroll down to multiply this. And now we're choosing the wiring tool. B to 100 and A to space. This is the throttle. Active. It will activate automatically when you step into the vehicle. We connected active to active on pod control. Now we put throttle on this new multiply gate. Now I forgot to connect all the gearboxes. We will connect gear up to W. And we will connect webs, gear down to the... come on. Oh, I hate this. Seriously. Okay, we're going to connect the gear down to S. Like that. And while we're on it, we can connect clutch and brake on Alt. These brakes are very weak, and we will connect these brakes to the Alt also. You can connect the clutch also, but whatever. That is mostly if you have a bike and you want the front wheel to lift, like you hold down throttle, push in the clutch and just release it, and you will flip over. Otherwise, clutch is kind of useless. It works, but the final drive on the gearbox is the wrong way. Whoops. Now we're going to need to take up the ACF menu on tools, ACF menu like there, and Away with engines, up to gearboxes. We had the 4-speed inline medium. And the only thing we will do is put a negative minus in front of the final drive. That will change the direction of the whole structure. So let's see. Our vehicle. Now we press W to gear up. And you see, we have a working vehicle. So that is basically the idea of making a very simple and working ACF car. Now we're going with the fun bit. Because as I said, all this wiring I usually won't do every time I build a car because I had it all saved in this little box I showed you earlier. So you can save this part if you haven't already, or whatever prop you used for the board. So you have like a motherboard to all of your coming structures in car and other vehicles that are based on the similar turning with front wheels. That is, this model won't work on tanks.